Welcome in to another Monday Night live stream, and I had I had a little bit of a scare when I started this live stream, or before I started this live stream. Um, I was deleting some old folders on my TrueNAS, and noticed it had been up for like 57 days. So I'm like, let's reboot TrueNAS first, and it rebooted and didn't come back. And this is not an April Fool's joke. This literally just happened. So that's why I'm late getting started. So just FYI, tonight might be interesting. Um, so welcome everyone to the chat, and as usual, David Grishko has pointed out the topic for tonight's live stream, which is TrueNAS, and I commented this on earlier because I literally had made the stream and then like closed a window, moved over somewhere else, came back, and David already commented. Like, I don't know how he must have like an automatic trigger, like anytime someone even posts a stream that he gets notified. Nils says he could watch live, but I'm already too tired. Eric's excited. David is saying 10 out of 10 already. I'm not so optimistic, but we'll see. Toro's here. Jeremy is in. And I think this is the first time Jeremy hasn't streamed or posted a video in like 30 days. So Jeremy's probably on his couch, like relaxing. I think David, like I said, I think David has some kind of automatic alert, if I had to guess. So yeah, basically, if I have been running TrueNAS Core on my machine for quite some time, and I think it's time to move to scale. And what better way to do that than do it live on a stream where nothing will ever fail. Oh, Toro is given a 2 out of 10 chance. That's lower than I expected, but not surprised, and I'm probably at a 3 or 4 if I had to guess. David says, I actually don't. Oh, come on, Jeremy. Just take a break. Stop thinking about YouTube. Just sit back and relax it. Surprised Joe's not here. Yeah, here goes nothing is sure, for sure. All right, so a couple other things I should probably, for context, give out. So last night, in preparing a live stream topic in general, I came downstairs and I turned on my VM host number 2 and discovered that my Wi-Fi network stopped working and my wired network stopped working. Now, the VM host 2 I'm sure had nothing to do with it, but the coincidence is interesting. So I had to power cycle everything that I could. I mean, I rebooted everything except for my TrueNAS box and my VMware host. And it still wasn't quite working. So I have a TP-Link switch over here on this fly pack just off camera. And I was plugged into it, and I couldn't get an IP address. And I was like, well, that's just, like, that doesn't make any sense. I unplugged the cable, and I plugged in directly to my laptop, and it worked. So it had to be the switch. So I was like, well, fine. The switch is a dumb switch. It's a managed switch, but it's basically a dumb switch. So I just pushed the reset button, reset it, fixed it. Okay, fine. But again, that was kind of weird. And then the Wi-Fi, like, nothing had changed. Why did the Wi-Fi just stop working? I don't know. So I brought the Wi-Fi downstairs to Unify access point, and I plugged it directly in, and it lit up. So it's been fine ever since. Down here, instead of up there. So I might have a cabling issue. I don't know, but it was very weird that like literally nothing wanted to talk last night. In doing so, I configured my Edge Router X that somebody gave God, I forget his name. Friend of the channel. He gave me this Edge Router X to play with. So I set this up as a kind of a backup router in case pfSense died. I reconfigured my Unify US Flex to be a flat switch in case things went bad. And then I did what they never do, just a USB 5 dongle pfSense. Once I got into it, made a hotspot from the pfSense box, just as kind of a test. For those wondering, pfSense does support Wi-Fi, and it's been working ever since. And I am, in fact, my phone is still connected to it. So it is on my test network, working fine. So I don't know. It was weird, the weird series of situations. So, and I'm sorry if I just made a lot of noise because I kicked the microphone stand. My Chrome tab is not refreshing again. Must have changed something. Toro says he expects CFS not to cooperate. Hey, there's Joe. It was not DNS. I don't know what the issue was. It was a weird series of events, that's for sure. Clear Life Media is here. Welcome in. You have no idea the bias I have against DNS. Had to convince a server team today their platform for their server not working was not DNS. That's interesting. Yeah, if it's not plugged in, then it's definitely not DNS. I thought I turned speed test off. I am 99% sure the speed test is off. Let me verify that before I go forward. Yeah, my speed test server is not even running. I mean, the server's running, the tests are not running. Which makes me question a whole other series of things. Let me double check my uplink. I swear, I have gremlins. Just something feels weird. My internet connection is reporting 0 loss. Everything's fine. So if you're seeing issues, please let me know. Bob is here. Welcome in, Bob. I'm just here for the explosions. There might be some of those. There definitely might be. Why did I click my email? All right, so let's get started. So here is my TrueNAS box. Currently running TrueNAS Core. It has 16 gigs of memory, which is the maximum that the machine it's in supports. The pool is a 4-drive array and is currently about half full. And this is actually, I purged some stuff. A couple of these things I don't really need, so I probably will delete them. Like NFS was just a NFS test. IO cage is going to go away because it's not in scale. This is old Nextcloud data, and here's the new one, but I haven't finished migrating anything over to it yet, so that's why this is hanging around. ISOs, pretty obvious. Clonezilla, this was a test destination, if you will, for Clonezilla, which, assuming things go well tonight, I actually was going to play with, because I need to image, or I should say I need to move 2 virtualization servers from one system to another system, but unfortunately they're thick provisioned, and I can't make a snapshot and I can't copy them inside XE and PNG because somebody who happens to run this channel made them thick provisioned and didn't leave enough freaking space on the drive. I mean, I wouldn't know who that would be, but that person deserves to get shot because now I can't move the damn images, or I can't move the damn virtual machines because there's no space left on the machine. But I'm not bitter. No, I'm not bitter at all. Eric asked, yes, there's a snapshot available. I will take another snapshot. This was last done a couple days ago, but we should probably make another snapshot because why not? So we're going to make a new snapshot of the whole thing. And so now there's 2 snapshots. So we should be good there. Thank you for asking. Yeah, thick provisioning sucks. I was not ready for... I made a mistake for sure. I also provisioned the machines. So it's a 3.3, 3.4 terabyte array, and I made the machines 1.5. Not quite sure why I did that, but you live and learn. So, I actually have 2 thoughts about upgrading this. So we can do it through the GUI, or, and it might be better, I'm curious your thoughts, is to actually reinstall the OS, because one of the things in this server is I actually have an NVMe drive here that is currently not anything. It was a log device for the array for to include my improve my write speeds, but I didn't really notice any difference, so I removed it. It's currently unassigned. Currently this thing boots off a USB stick, so I probably should install it to this NVMe drive. Why is it glitch? It's probably the adaptive, or the... It probably happens whenever I go to a full screen because I'm watching my bandwidth graphs, and when I'm talking I get 6 megs, but if I show the web page or web interface it goes down to 2 megs. So it's probably that low bit rate utilization that the encoder is trying to do that I don't really have a setting not to do it. At least I don't think I do. Well, I can't really go there without showing my stream key. So you have to trust me on this one. The bitrate mode is literally set for constant bitrate, but it doesn't do it. So kind of stuck on that one. So I guess let's, for fun, and hence the point of this whole video, is to upgrade TrueNAS, and then we'll see if we'll see how well it works, and maybe I'll reinstall to the NVMe drive after the fact. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think we should just try it. So one thing I should probably do is also back up. Where is the config? Nothing in here is important. So save config. We're going to save the whole configuration just in case. So there you see it did in fact download our little configuration. So we've done the configuration, we've done a reboot. So at this point, what the hell can happen? So we're gonna change the train to be TrueNAS scale. I believe this is the latest release. And we're going to say continue. We will lose the following things, which is fine. We're not really too worried about that stuff. Download updates. We just did this. Apply updates and reboot. That is a lot of bits to download. So while that's happening, let me take that down so I can actually see it. I will tell you an interesting scenario that happened. We have a SCSI, yes, SCSI audio player, and it died on, I want to say Thursday, Friday, something like that at work. We actually have two SCSI players, and one died a while ago, and the second one finally died, and so we obviously don't have SCSI drives anymore. So we ordered a SCSI to SD card converter chip that, in theory, based on a YouTube video, allows you to use an SD card, and then it mimics a SCSI connection, and therefore you can plug it in and restore operation to this instant replay machine for playing audio files. My backup option, and something I planned to do for quite some time, but of course, you know how things work. They never get done. The projects just keep piling up, is to switch to Rivendell, which we've reviewed on this channel before. So I'm actually building a Rivendell system for use at work with a Dante USB adapter for audio and a GPI relay box, so that our current GPI configuration for playing audio can work with Rivendell. Now, that's something I never actually got to play with before, so I'm curious to see how that works. In theory, it works. I've tested it before on a different machine, but we'll see. So this is one world, or one situation, I should say, where stuff that I've learned outside of the station or learned on YouTube is actually influencing work in the station. Because if it wouldn't have been for the radio station, I would have no idea what Rivendell was, nor would I trust it to be used as an audio player at a TV station. So, and the reason why I'm considering using it is because we can make playlist for audio files, and then in theory with a GPI connector, trigger a play every time the trigger gets hit, boom, it plays a clip. Trigger gets hit, plays a clip. But it also allows for you to play more than one piece of audio at a time. And in our newscast, we play music, and often we will also hit a weather dinger at the same time, hence why we had two boxes. And this would allow us to play music and, in theory, have the dinger as well. So, interesting scenario. When I have it complete, I will talk more about it and maybe even show it off. We'll see. But interesting way the worlds collide sometimes. So we are currently extracting the update. Bob says it's choppy for him now. Might be his local Google node. Yeah, SCSI to SD. Those are interesting. Like I said, interesting to see what happens with it. Hoping that it works, honestly. Yeah, so we use Dante Audio exclusively for audio in the station now, and in theory, Rivendell can output more than one channel at a time. I don't think the USB a dongle though supports that, so not quite sure how that's going to work, but we'll see. So anyway, anybody have any questions while we wait? I didn't realize it would take this long. It's like watching paint dry. And I did put my Raid is not a backup shirt on today because yesterday was World Backup Day. So kind of what inspired of this stream. The SCSI to SD or compact flash are quite common for old Macs and Amigas. I keep seeing one. Yeah, I forget what this one was called, but basically, if you look up Instant Replay and SCSI, I think that's how he found the YouTube video. So we shall see how it goes. I hope it works because the audio operators just like to push the button, and they know how to import audio already and play it back, and it's great. And not that I don't trust Rivendell, but they don't use Rivendell, and so therefore there's a learning curve. So we'll see how that goes. Hank is here. Welcome in, Hank. Glad to see you. This is still extracting. All right, I actually have to walk away for a second, so we could just kind of watch it extract for now. All right, well, I walk away and it jumps from 55% or whatever to 75. So that's promising. Michael is here. Welcome in, Michael. Glad to see you're here. I do want to go on a I don't want to say rant, if you will, but these edge router interfaces are just not very user friendly. I know I don't never really played around with one of these before, but it was not intuitive at all. Um, and honestly, it was a little scary. I commented about this last night in Jeremy's live stream. This thing has not seen an update in almost, was it 9 months? I think it was. Um, so I'm curious to know if it'll get an update. As Jeremy pointed out, like once a year hits, you kind of call the project abandoned. So I'm curious if the Edge router is going to see an update before 1 year is up. Um, I know several of you use Edge routers, so I hope for your sake that they are updating them because if they're not, then, well, that's not a good sign. And you might want to consider switching to something else. We are 75%, still waiting for it to reboot or finish, I should say. Michael says, I let my bunny burn and use Wi-Fi or Unify for all my things. Yeah, I'm probably going to be buying a Unify access point sooner than later. You missed the beginning, I think, where I talked about my recent troubles with the Unify access point, which is considerably old. I will acknowledge that. It's probably time for an update. Works for me, but it gave me a whole bunch of issues yesterday. This icon up here moving around is kind of creepy. Yeah, Bob Carpenter and I are fans of pfSense. So if you are a current Edge router user and you are considering something else, I would highly recommend pfSense. Um, we are at 0.5, that's for sure. We will not be getting. We will not be going for 2.5 or 3, as Joe often asks, or Jeremy usually delivers. Michael says he's been messing with the oddities of browser video playback across platforms. It's nice to see someone troubleshooting for a little bit. Yeah, browsers handle video very differently, which is odd. And then you look at like Edge versus Chrome, and we have an old server at work that, in theory, supports Chrome, but certain functions of it only work in Edge, which is weird. They're both Chromium-based browsers, but they very much handle certain things differently. So I can only imagine what you're dealing with. David says pfSense is good. I think, David, that's what you run, right? pfSense? I'm pretty sure you're a pfSense person. And as Bob pointed out to me last night, don't change your NIC card if you're licensed for pfSense because that'll change your system ID and therefore you'll be unlicensed. Be wary of that if you're going to do that. Seriously, it's like watching paint dry. 75%. I look back over and the GUI is doing nothing. I can see the GUI in the other room. If I was sponsored, like I just watched a video from Epos Fox, or how you pronounce his name, where he had a whole bunch of NDI devices around his house and network and his studio. And so if I had that, I could, like, take the output and do NDI across the network or whatever it is. But I don't. So unfortunately, you have to just count on me to tell you what it's doing. We're doing a pay-per-view track stream in May, so billing all the back end for security on that, paid, yeah. I paid, gotta work. Yep. Bob says they will let you move your license order once per license period. So I will buy it in a 1-year increments, not 2. That sounds like a safe thing to do going forward. Jeremy says, I'm in the open sense camp, but I've used pfSense in the past. Yeah, open sense. I just watched a video before this. Dave's Garage, I think it is, the guy from Microsoft. He did a video on OpenSense as a like a packet filter for your network, which was interesting. What's the task manager looking like? I don't think you can see it. Oops, we have movement. It's restarting. I can confirm the GUI is doing stuff. Yes, Dave Plummer, that's his name. Thank you. So I guess back to the OpenSense, pfSense. I think just pfSense works for me. I'm used to it. Its GUI is not as pretty, I will admit that. But I also don't need a GUI to be pretty. I need it to work. And at this point, I've learned pfSense. So, no reason to change, in my opinion. I also like the fact that they actually have appliances that you can buy, and I've bought pfSense appliances before. So I support them in terms of buying their hardware. I don't have any at home, but I bought them other places. And so there's more of an ecosystem around that, kind of like TrueNAS. TrueNAS is open source, but you can buy it. You can buy support for it. XEPNG is open source, but you can buy it, and there's support for it. So I like to choose things that are open source, but also have backing, commercial backing. One of the things we talked about last night in Jeremy's stream was who pays for open source. And I feel like there's a reason to be open source and have open source products, but somebody's got to pay the bill. And so if open source projects are backed by a company that sells hardware or sells support, that I feel like those projects are going to last a lot longer and be better overall. I also have seen recently, and I can't talk about it, but I've seen recently where updates kill things, and they kill them in really, really bad ways. And so OpenSense updating like every month I've heard, just kind of scares me a little bit. Like, I don't want to be updating my router every month. There shouldn't be a need to update your router every month. So I'm probably wrong on some of these things, but that's my stance. And so if you want to disagree with me, by all means, please do so. I love conversation, and as long as it's based in, respect and is, considerate, but also based on facts, as opposed to just, the Earth's flat, and I believe that. Okay, well, that's not a starter, I watched the same video. I had to hold my nose. Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's installing OpenSense and telling you to install OpenSense, feel like he's learned his ways. Once OpenSense has PF blocker, I'll consider trying it. Yeah, I need to make sure. I need to get back to that. I had I had PF blocker working beautifully, and then I'm not quite sure what happened to it. I must have lost it in the rebuild because it just I don't have it anymore, and I really want to get back to it. Yeah, the OpenSense GUI is, and yes, for those who don't know, OpenSense is a fork of pfSense. So I feel like the only reason for going OpenSense is the GUI, and I'm not going to switch router manufacturer or router systems just because of GUI. Joe says, having a weird issue with OpenVPN, I can connect to it just fine into our network on iPhone, but it only works the first time. Then the TLS handshake fails. Ooh, I feel like is that a is that a like a encryption thing? I feel like I remember an issue like that before with OpenVPN. Um, where it negotiates weird, like it wants to negotiate encryption the second time, but that's been a while. I haven't had that issue, and I will admit, OpenVPN I think is cool, but WireGuard is so much simpler. If you're just doing a couple of users or a couple of endpoints, um, WireGuard is a lot easier to manage. I guess than but OpenVPN is nice because you can just make a client and use it, and there's passwords But I remember having issues with the export tool. This was years ago. I just couldn't get the export tool to export settings that worked across platforms, and so I always kind of struggle with that. Um, and I always felt like there were too many options in OpenVPN, uh, whereas WireGuard, it's like there's no options. It's there you go. Which, as long as it's secure, is great. Um, but yeah, that feels weird. I feel like there's a encryption incompatibility. It just sounds to me. I'm just guessing there. Yeah, there's a lot of contention between the OpenSense team and Netgate. Yeah, there's drama everywhere, unfortunately. Um, Redis dead. TrueNAS might be. VMware dead. Yeah. I don't know that TrueNAS core is going to be dead, but TrueNAS itself, I don't think is going anywhere. Touche. Um, yes, monthly updates is way better than no updates. That is for sure. Um, yeah, I think TrueNAS Core is going away. I don't think TrueNAS Scale is going anywhere. Who's Jake TV or Tivy? I'm not sure who that is. I just want to start pulling down everything I use into projects for an offline grip. That not a bad idea. It's no problem, David. Welcome in. Does Unify support WireGuard like universal WireGuard or only their version of WireGuard? Because I'm pretty sure I thought they supported WireGuard between their own devices, but not like my pfSense cannot WireGuard into Unify. Um, yeah, are you using local DNS? Could be a DNS issue. Joe says he manually added DNS when he set up the OpenVPN server. Jeremy points out that pfSense has PF Blocker and OpenSense has ZenArmor. I haven't used it yet. Michael says I'm going to probably go build my 80 terabyte NAS later this year. Should I do one it myself or just go with that Ugreen? The Ugreen is interesting. I'm torn. Like the hardware looks good from what I can tell. I don't have one. Ugreen, you can send me one if you want. But as far as I can tell, the OS is getting updated daily, or at least like every other day. It seems like, which that scares the crap out of me. I get why they're updating it because they're new and they're whatnot, but like I don't want my NAS to be updated that often, and I definitely don't want features to change over time because they're updating things so fast that I don't know. It just their software scares me. I would love to take a Ugreen NAS and put TrueNAS on it, a platform that is known, or Synology on it. I know you can't do that, but I mean, I just feel like there's better software out there than but the hardware seems great and the price seems especially great. Like I'm actually considering getting a Ugreen NAS if I could, if I know I could put TrueNAS on it. Like once somebody does a video and like, here's how you put TrueNAS on this thing, I might go support the Kickstarter and buy it because the hardware looks nice, but and the true TrueNAS units are expensive as hell. So I've always thought you could do a NAS cheaper than the $1,000, IX Systems, whatever the IX Systems TrueNAS Mini, I think it is. So I've always kind of thought you could do the hardware cheaper, which is what Ugreen's doing. I just don't want their software. Not yet, at least. Oh, he's the Linus Tech Tips network guy. Okay. Yeah, Jake from LTT is not exactly an authority. I would agree with that. I saw their April Fool's early joke video and I skipped past it. I vote Ugreen all the way. Like I said, I think the hardware looks great. Yeah, if I could load my own OS onto a Ugreen, it's pretty good. I would. I don't know. Is anyone from LTT an expert? That is a good question, and I unfortunately think the answer is no. I mean, they're good. I don't know if they're experts. Yes, please don't forget to hit the like button. I can't tell what that interface is, so let's go back to TrueNAS and see what happens. The GUI looks different, so maybe this works. That is not promising. Well, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. I think there are areas that I would consider myself an expert on. There are lots of areas I would not consider myself an expert on, though. I would put an asterisk next to some of that stuff. Uh, some of their videos are interesting. Their infrastructure builds I will watch. Most of the other stuff they do, I don't watch. Um, their network build, their server builds, kind of interesting because they're a lot of money and they're really cool hardware. Um, I think they've kind of gone a little too far to the high end. Like when you're building $100,000 servers, um, most people aren't going to be able to touch those. So, is that your audience? I don't think it is. Um, so I don't know. I just think that's my personal opinion. I also hate. I don't want to go on a rant, but I hate April Fool's jokes. Not April Fool's jokes itself because those could be funny, but I hate April Fools on social media and YouTube. Um, just some of the things people try today. I just look at that and go, ugh. um, David's bought some of hardware for his new NAS. Gonna go something free, which is great. Michael says, I'm never likely to build a petabyte server, so the next best thing I can is watch your videos. No, I get that. There's definitely an audience for it. I liked it when he was like doing big things with small budgets. That was, to me, was very interesting. Now when you're forking out or getting free $250,000 servers or whatever it is they're getting that last video, because I see it in my thread. I don't actually subscribe. I don't think I subscribe. Do I subscribe? I don't think I do. LTT. Yeah, I'm not actually a subscriber. I just see his videos and recommended, of course. Um, Jacob Johnson's here. Welcome in. Toro has an 80 terabyte server working. All right, I'm gonna go check out the screen just to see what it shows me. I'll be right back. So, Toro, you said 2 out of 10, right? Well, you definitely win by getting the closest, because currently the screen says there's no bootable device found. Yeah, $250,000 is their reward for big sponsorships. Yes, welcome to the party. AM video card. Oh yeah, that thing. That turned a lot of people off to that one for sure. Jacob Johnson has 220 terabyte usable. Wow, what do you have? Home, or is that is that your work? Or is that for your work, I should say? Is that personal or home? Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go reboot. Didn't I? David did say 10 out of 10. David was pretty confident. Toro was. Do I get to drink from the fire hose? Um, Toro, you get the Ubiquity ceiling mount adapter. I will give you this ceiling mount adapter as your prize. Um, yeah, I only watch, like I said, I only watch certain videos from him, and yeah, so no bootable device. So shit. Let me go. Let me go reboot it again just to see what happens. I don't think it's gonna make any damn difference, but we'll see. And I'll use a different hold slate this time. Wait, we might have life. We might have life. After power cycling it and plugging it back in, it is now booting. So we shall see. We are not dead in the water yet. We have a winner. He broke the tabs on yours. You may get 2JEU out of this yet. I hope not. Jacob Johnson's running a 24 bay net app enclosure fed into a Dell. Nice. Isn't it 10 out of 10 given enough time? Yeah, I guess in theory, given enough time. You know, I read that. Are they actually local? Are they in Vancouver? I thought they were in Toronto. Man, I could be wrong. There are ways around giving them views. We just can't talk about them here. Yeah, no, the Ugreen stuff looks great. I just want to make sure you can put a different OS on it first. I'm curious to know which one that is. I think I might know based on our conversation the other day, but I could be wrong. Let me know. Message me if you want. I turned it off and on again. Yes, I did. Yeah, 4 years ago, that's true. Most people didn't want to fight, but now he was. He said, "Screw that shit." Oh, they're in Langley, British. Okay, so they're nearby, I guess. Oh, now you have Bob interested. Bob is a big, big gun raid fan. Let's see if this booted. Looks like I might have ran into a different problem now. Hold on. Still booting. IP address should be statically configured in pfSense. Well, that's true. Bob's storage requirements are not exactly typical. I'm just going to say that. Looks like it's still booting. Command line is... Ooh, look at this. It actually booted. Holy crap. Wow. There we go. Seize the disk. Use capacity. Data sets are there. Definitely working. Now let me see if just out of the box, I'm curious if the shares are working. They are working. They are definitely working. I can't show you them, but they're definitely working. Wow. So we actually have success. Yeah, well, I'm curious to know the contract because sources would indicate that there was no contract that stipulates that, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be, I'm curious to know if anyone actually, if it's in the contract or not. Sorry, Toro. I thought you were right. I thought you were dead on right for a second. My 24 terabyte Sigma NAS is doing well. I don't think I'm going to look. Scale doesn't run so fast on USB flash drives. I don't recommend it. I personally wouldn't care as long as I use 2 reliable NAND USB drives. Yeah, I mean, I have a second Samsung drive that I was going to add to basically have dual USB, but I had that NVMe drive inside, so I could install to it, which is probably what I should do, is reinstall to the NVMe drive because, and this is, I guess, a question for the Brain Trust. If you look at storage, I do have that NVMe drive, and I, in theory, could assign it to, as a cache VDEV or whatever. I guess I'm curious what people think the best results get, because I thought it would be a log VDEV, but under core, I didn't notice much of a difference. I also installed it as a cache VDEV one time, and again, I didn't notice much difference. So my guess is my option. It could also be the machine itself. It's an old machine. Maybe nothing I'm going to do will improve my speeds until I upgrade the machine. But it definitely did work. So maybe I can pull some data down and we can see it working. So let's pull some data down. I'm getting 110. That's not bad. It's saturating the gigabit link I have. Can't do much better than that. Now, David got me interested. Okay, how do we do that? Ooh, look, my speed just plummeted. All right, watching this. What do you think my issue is? Is it the disk? Do I need a cache drive? Do I need to boot from an SSD, which is probably be helpful? Because I'm saturating my gig link. Like you can't go much faster. Yeah, I should probably switch to an SSD boot. How do you do that? How do you do that, David? For the record, this thing has a 10 gig NIC, but obviously the machine I'm on does not have 10 gig. System settings. Boot. Boot. Pool status. No options. Let me plug my other USB stick in. I always enjoy the part where David coaches Jan how to work on something through chat. Attach a new member disk. There's no other member disk. I can't wait for David to start streaming. Those are going to be some excellent videos and streams. Yeah, I definitely should probably do both. um, boot pull status, add attach a drive. There's nothing there. Probably need to reboot in order to do that. Oh, it sees it. No, can't do it that way. Nope. Oh, you know what? Neither of them drives are empty. Yeah, this is an old drive. I'm not gonna lie, or old system. I mean, well, we can definitely format them, or at least the one. What does this drive currently have on it? I don't even know. Oh, apparently it has PF Sense on it. But it has a small little partition on it that I can't delete through Windows. Lovely. Yeah, I mean, it's an old machine. I mean, nothing, in my opinion, nothing wrong with it. Let me, I kind of cleared out. Oh, wait, does Rufus? I think Rufus does. Um, does Rufus wipe out the thing? I can't remember if it does or not. I don't even have Rufus on here. What happened to Rufus? I don't know. Does TrueNAS? I'm not the expert, that's for sure. Let me try just downloading Rufus again because I'm surprised I don't have it right now. you've never heard of Rufus, it is excellent. It is small and it is definitely powerful. Can't you just like format it through here? I thought you could like really format. Yeah, quick format. Start. So now we're gonna make sure it's truly empty, which it probably is. And there, it's truly empty. So now we're gonna try it. Alrighty, so now I go back to here, pool status, attach. Now they both show up. How are they both showing up now? That's weird. Well, let's add the NVMe drive. Okay, Bob, I get the point. It's old. I'm curious to know. I mean, I should look up my. Well, I can't reboot now. Okay, Bob, we're going to play a little game. Let me see if I can figure out what's my other machine. And tell me how much new, what it is. Um, how do you figure out? Oh. So I'm trying to figure out what's in this machine. This is another machine I have sitting here. I could move my TrueNAS to this machine. I don't. How do you know what CPU is in a machine? I gotta be a way to tell that. Of course, there's a command like that. Why wouldn't there be one? Thank you, Jeremy. There, Bob. Core i5. Is that a much better CPU or is that similar? I'm curious to know. Because I couldn't move it over. I have no problem rebuilding it. Not today, but I'm curious to know if this whole process works. Of course, if this works, or this resilvers, then I reboot, I gotta go pull the USB stick. Or can I pull it while it's hot? I actually don't know. Oh, you're not decrying it as bad. It's a Presto 2-core 14. Yeah, I mean, it's been working great. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Linux. Like, it doesn't because there's no active GUI on it other than command line. Uh, it does a really good job of being a server. Um, it's kind of low impact. I mean, it's for a home user like myself, it doesn't really don't need it to do a whole lot. But I am curious, Bob, if you could, if if the other CPU is, um, if that other CPU is like way better, or if it's like incrementally better. Resilvering is the process of putting the data on the other drive so it matches. So since I just added the NVMe to the mirror, it now has to copy the data so that both disks are identical. So hence a true mirror. Quad versus well, yeah, geez, okay, that's a good point. I should probably move over to that. Because that would be definitely faster. But as we saw, I'm actually hitting the maximum limit of my NIC, not necessarily the CPU. Eric says they do that on telescope mirrors. I didn't. I guess it, I did not know that. Jacob Johnson says both my backup servers are R710s with dual 5650s. I can saturate 10 gig on them. Yeah, if I do a iPerf test from my virtual servers to my virtual servers, like back and forth, I can saturate a 10 gig link, but I don't really do that very often, or never actually. All right, almost done. 76%. I'm sorry. The CPUs you have are the same era as my quad core. Is that what you're saying? I really want this resilvering process to finish so I can reboot and actually boot from the NVMe. That would be fun. And if that works, we'll call it a night. Oh, resilver and do a speed copy test. Okay. All right. Well, we're getting there, 90%. We're almost to 1.5 JAU for Joe. And I even said we're not going to do a 2 tonight, and we might get there. I don't think we're going to see any speed change. Just a hunch. If I were to install it as a cache drive, I would expect a change, but not a boot drive. So we're done there. That's good. Yeah, so this is the JEs are not for you tonight. Okay. All right. So in theory now we're good. I am really curious to know. Oh, and email alerts are working because I just got an email notification from my TrueNAS that says the resilvering is complete. So let's have some fun because we already had fun tonight. Let's shut down. Shut down. I'm going to go pull the USB drive and then turn it on. All right, well, that's not going to work because it's a NVMe drive. It's an NVMe drive on a PCI card, and apparently the BIOS can't boot to the PCI card. So that's not going to work. So now I got to go plug the USB drives in and see if I can get back in to TrueNAS. Still trying to get the thing to boot correctly. Hold on. Alrighty, so yeah, so I think we're gonna call it quits. It's not booting. I know it will boot. I just gotta put the USB drive back in, but I don't know why it's not seeing the USB drive. Um, so um, Bob shared a link in the chat. What is? Oh, this is nice. I like this. This is cool. Gonna save that for later. So yeah, so I think it's a success. If I didn't try to pull the USB stick, um, I'm sure it'll reboot once I get the USB boot drive set back as the boot device. So let me just gonna call it quits for tonight. That was a fun adventure. I will probably switch over to the other computer going forward. Maybe that'll be next. Well, no, next week's the solar eclipse. I don't think I'll be here next week. I'll probably be off next week. We'll see what happens next week. So, either way, I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you all had fun. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you soon. I'll probably post to my community page when I actually figure out when I'm going to go live next. But we'll see. And I might even surprise you. I might do a surprise live stream because I actually have an idea all of a sudden. I just realized I have a free night coming up. But follow my community page for more information. See you all. Have a good night.